Do not blink, this is the moment everyone missed. Before you scroll away, take a breath because this part of the story reveals the quiet scene that changed everything. If you thought you had already seen the most powerful connection between Lee Jun-ho and Yoona, think again. What unfolds next is subtle, emotional, and unforgettable. Stay with this story to the end and share your thoughts because this is where the magic truly deepens. After the early sparks and the instant connection, something shifted in the atmosphere. The story slowed down, and that was intentional. Lee Jun-ho and Yoona stepped into a phase where emotions were no longer obvious, but deeply felt. Every movement mattered. Every pause carried meaning. The secret moment happened away from the noise. No crowd. No dramatic setting. Just the two of them in a calm space where honesty could finally breathe. Lee Jun-ho stood slightly apart, his expression thoughtful, almost guarded. Yoona noticed immediately. Instead of speaking, she waited, giving him room to gather himself. That silence spoke louder than words. When Lee Jun-ho finally looked at her, there was a softness that had not been there before. Not surprise. Not tension. Understanding. Yoona responded with a gentle smile that felt reassuring and brave at the same time. In that instant, viewers realized something had changed. This was no longer curiosity. It was trust. One of the most mind-blowing details of this scene was how natural it felt. No exaggerated reactions. No rushed dialogue. Just two people allowing themselves to be seen. Lee Jun-ho spoke quietly, choosing each word carefully. Yoona listened fully, her eyes never leaving his face. That level of attention made the scene unforgettable. Another powerful moment followed shortly after. They walked side by side, not touching, yet completely in sync. Their pace matched. Their energy aligned. Lee Jun-ho adjusted his stride without realizing it. Yoona noticed and smiled to herself. Fans caught this detail instantly and replayed it again and again because it felt real and unforced. What shocked everyone was not a dramatic confession but a simple gesture. Lee Jun-ho paused, reached out, and stopped himself. Yoona gently closed the distance instead. That reversal carried emotional weight. It showed choice and mutual understanding. The audience felt the shift immediately. As the story continued, this secret moment influenced everything that followed. Conversations became deeper. Glances lasted longer. Their connection felt grounded and intentional. The chemistry matured into something steady and meaningful. This part of the story proved why Lee Jun-ho and Yoona captivated viewers worldwide. They showed that the most powerful romance moments are often quiet, built on respect, patience, and emotional awareness. As the story moved forward, the impact of that secret moment continued to ripple through every scene they shared. Nothing needed to be explained out loud because the understanding between Lee Jun-ho and Yoona had already been established. Viewers could feel it in the way they stood closer than before and in how their conversations flowed with ease. One particularly unforgettable scene showed them working together on a simple task. There was no tension, yet the air felt charged. Lee Jun-ho instinctively reached for what Yoona needed before she asked. She noticed and met his eyes with a look that held gratitude and quiet excitement. That small exchange sent waves through the audience because it revealed how deeply tuned they had become to each other. Another moment that fans still describe as shocking happened during a late evening conversation. The lighting was soft, creating a sense of calm intimacy. Lee Jun-ho spoke about responsibility and the weight of expectation. His voice was steady, but vulnerable. Yoona listened closely, then responded with reassurance that felt sincere and grounding. She did not try to fix anything. She simply understood. That emotional safety became the foundation of their bond. What made this phase of their story so compelling was the shift in energy. Earlier scenes carried curiosity and playful tension. Now there was trust and intention. Every look felt deliberate. Every smile carried meaning. Lee Jun-ho expressed emotion through restraint while Yoona balanced him with openness and warmth. Together they created a rhythm that felt natural and deeply engaging. Fans also noticed how their body language evolved. They no longer stood apart. Their movements mirrored each other. When Lee Jun-ho turned, Yoona followed. When she paused, he waited. These subtle details made the romance feel lived in rather than performed. As the narrative built toward its next turning point, the connection between them became undeniable. There was a scene where words were almost unnecessary. A shared glance held understanding, comfort, and promise. Viewers held their breath because they knew something important was unfolding quietly. This continuation reminded everyone why Lee Joon-ho and Yoona became such a powerful pairing. They proved that romance does not always need dramatic declarations. Sometimes the most shocking moments are the ones that unfold gently and stay with you long after the screen fades. As the story continued, the bond between Lee Joon-ho and Yoona grew quieter yet stronger, and that was what made it impossible to ignore. The world around them seemed to slow whenever they shared the screen. Conversations became fewer but more meaningful. Silence turned into comfort. Viewers could sense that they no longer needed to prove anything to each other. One deeply memorable scene showed them standing together after a long emotional day. The setting was simple, almost ordinary, yet the feeling was extraordinary. Lee Joon-ho exhaled slowly as if releasing a weight he had carried alone for too long. Yoona noticed the shift instantly. She did not speak. She simply stayed. That decision changed the moment completely. The camera lingered, capturing the calm trust between them, and fans felt it deeply. Another scene that left audiences stunned came unexpectedly. They were surrounded by people, yet completely focused on each other. Lee Joon-ho spoke with quiet confidence while Yoona listened with unwavering attention. When their eyes met, the noise faded away. That single glance carried reassurance, pride, and affection all at once. Fans replayed this moment because it felt like a promise without words. As their connection deepened, so did their emotional understanding. Lee Joon-ho began to open up more freely, revealing thoughts he had kept guarded. Yoona responded with honesty and warmth, never pushing, never retreating. Their exchanges felt balanced and real. This stage of the story showed love as partnership, not performance. One of the most talked about moments came when Yoona took the lead for the first time. She made a choice that surprised everyone, including Lee Joon-ho. He watched her with admiration and respect clear in his expression. That moment shifted the dynamic, showing that their bond was built on equality and mutual belief. The chemistry between them reached a new level here. Not louder, not more dramatic, but deeper. Their smiles carried shared memories. Their pauses felt intentional. Every scene felt like a continuation of something meaningful rather than a series of isolated moments. Viewers around the world connected to this evolution because it reflected something familiar. The kind of connection that grows quietly. The kind that feels safe, steady, and sincere. Lee Joon-ho and Yoona captured that feeling with remarkable grace. As this chapter of the story unfolded, audiences realized they were witnessing something rare. A romance built on understanding, patience, and emotional presence. It was no longer about shocking moments alone. It was about consistency and depth. As the story moved deeper into its most meaningful phase, the connection between Lee Joon-ho and Yoona began to feel unbreakable. Not because of grand promises or dramatic turns, but because of the quiet certainty that settled between them. Viewers could sense it in every shared moment. This was no longer about discovery. This was about choice. One scene that captured this shift perfectly took place during a moment of uncertainty. The atmosphere was tense, yet controlled. Lee Joon-ho stood still, listening carefully as events unfolded around them. Yoona glanced at him, searching his expression. When their eyes met, there was no fear. Only trust. Without hesitation, she stayed close, and that simple act spoke louder than any dialogue. Another unforgettable sequence showed them sharing a rare moment of lightness. A soft laugh escaped Yoona, surprising even herself. Lee Joon-ho smiled in response, his expression open and genuine. That laugh broke through the tension, reminding viewers that joy had found its place within their connection. Fans loved the scene because it felt like relief and hope woven together. Their emotional alignment became clearer with every episode. Lee Joon-ho began to anticipate Yoona's reactions, understanding her before she spoke. Yoona sensed his shifts in mood, offering support without being asked. These details made their romance feel intuitive and deeply rooted. One particularly powerful moment came when they faced a decision that would change their path forward. Lee Jun-ho expressed concern not for himself, but for what it might mean for her. Yoona responded with calm assurance, making it clear that they were facing the future together. That exchange resonated strongly with viewers because it showed love as shared responsibility. As the story continued, the audience noticed how their presence affected one another. Lee Jun-ho seemed steadier, more grounded. Yoona's appeared more confident and assured. Their growth felt intertwined and purposeful. This evolution added depth to every scene, making even the simplest moments feel significant. The romance reached a point where nothing needed to be said. A shared look could convey support, understanding, and affection. These were the moments that stayed with viewers long after the episode ended. They felt real because they reflected emotional maturity rather than fantasy. By this stage, it was clear why Lee Jun-ho and Yoona had captivated so many. Their story showed that true connection is built through patience, respect, and consistent care. It reminded audiences that love can be powerful without being loud. As the journey continued, the atmosphere around Lee Jun-ho and Yoona shifted into something quietly powerful. There was a calm certainty in the way they moved through scenes together. It was the kind of connection that did not demand attention, yet naturally drew it. Viewers leaned in not because something dramatic was happening, but because something meaningful was unfolding. One scene that stayed in the minds of many took place during an ordinary moment. They were simply standing side by side watching the world move around them. Lee Jun-ho spoke softly about the past, not with regret, but with reflection. Yoona listened with care, her expression open and steady. When she responded, it was not with advice, but with understanding. That exchange captured emotional intimacy in its purest form, and fans felt the sincerity immediately. Another moment that surprised everyone came without warning. A sudden pause in conversation. A shared look that lingered just a second longer than expected. Lee Jun-ho smiled not out of habit, but out of comfort. Yoona mirrored it naturally. That small gesture felt monumental because it showed how deeply at ease they had become with one another. As episodes progressed, their bond influenced the choices they made. Lee Jun-ho approached challenges with a new sense of balance, knowing he was not alone. Yoona showed confidence grounded in trust rather than certainty. Together they faced situations not as individuals, but as a unit. This evolution made the romance feel earned and deeply satisfying. Fans also noticed how their presence softened the world around them. Scenes felt warmer when they shared the frame. Dialogue carried more weight. Silence felt intentional rather than empty. Their chemistry elevated even the simplest moments, turning them into highlights that viewers replayed again and again. One especially touching scene showed Yoona expressing vulnerability openly. Lee Jun-ho did not interrupt or rush her. He simply stayed present, offering reassurance through his calm demeanor. That moment resonated because it reflected emotional safety, something audiences rarely see portrayed so naturally. As the story approached its later chapters, the romance settled into something steady and reassuring. There was no need for dramatic proof. The connection was evident in how they stood close, how they listened, how they chose each other in quiet ways. Viewers felt a sense of fulfillment watching a relationship grow with such care. This continued arc reminded audiences why Lee Jun-ho and Yoona became such a beloved pairing. They showed that love can be gentle and strong at the same time. That the most unforgettable moments are often the quiet ones built on trust and presence. If this scene stayed with you, share the story with another drama lover. Comment on the moment that surprised you most. Subscribe for more K Drama Luxe exclusives, where we uncover the scenes everyone is still talking about.